On average, there are 463,634 victims aged 12 or older of rape and sexual assault each year in the United States, according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. When will people learn that no means no and consent isn't implied or unspoken? Consent is important, and sexual harassment and abuse has to stop. To start, we have to define two terms. First, what is sexual harassment and abuse? Sexual harassment and abuse is any unwanted sexual behavior or action that makes a person feel uncomfortable, unsafe, or hurt. If you are uncomfortable by the behavior, it counts as sexual harassment. Second, we have to define the term of consent. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, consent cannot be given by individuals who are underage, intoxicated, or incapacitated by drugs or alcohol, or asleep or unconscious. They also say that if someone only agrees under pressure or when threatened, then it does not count as consent because it was not freely given. This means that if you do not clearly state your consent without added pressures or being under a substance, it does not count. Consent is not implied, it is spoken. Sexual harassment is an issue that affects more people than you think. Tulane University did a study in 2024 of sexual harassment, saying that for the survey, sexual harassment included unwelcome behavior ranging from catcalling to stalking and unwanted touching in a sexual way. They surveyed over 3,300 adults in America, and the results showed that 82% of women and 42% of men had experienced sexual harassment or assault in their lifetime. So many people, including people you know or yourself, have been victims of sexual harassment. This is not a rare or even uncommon occurrence. In fact, it's quite common. Another type of sexual abuse is rape. Rape doesn't just affect adults, and it is unfortunately common that victims of rape or attempted rape were not over 18 when it first occurred. The National Sexual Violence Resource Center, or NSVRC, says that 1 in every 3 women and 1 in every 4 men that were victims of rape or attempts of it had it occur the first time between the ages of 11 to 17. This is why it is more important than ever to educate all kids about consent and how to stand up for themselves. In this world where we are not always safe and our boundaries are not always respected, children and students need to be taught how to feel secure. Without the threat of unwelcome sexual behavior, we would be in a world where people's boundaries would be respected and people wouldn't be afraid of sexual harassment. People should care about this because even if this isn't happening to you or it won't happen to you throughout your entire life, someone you know is dealing with this. Someone you know has had or is having disregard for their boundaries. This is not okay, and caring about this topic shows that you give support for victims. Schools also have the power to teach about consent and how to share and ensure someone respects your boundaries. So many people grow up and receive sexual abuse or harassment because they don't know how to stop it. Schools can do their job to educate students, starting from a young age, on how to stand up for themselves and be safe. It is so important to learn about this when you're young because sexual abuse and harassment doesn't just happen to adults. When children or students are educated on consent and self-advocacy, they grow up to know what is respectful and what is not in public and in relationships. Please do not ignore the sexual abuse and harassment going on in this world just because it is not happening to you. So many members of your community have gone or are going through this, and speaking up about this and encouraging consent and self-advocacy to be taught in schools shows your support. No means no, and it's time people follow that.